Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dash Brandon. This is Let's Play Stories, The Path of Destinies. So, last time we almost finished this bottom row. So now we're gonna do, or try to find, let's be honest here. I looked up what the right path was here to get number 24, because I don't want to waste either of our times. Alright, so it starts with finding the armature. So, we need to build the Sky Ripper.
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces deep. And then, this Emperor's horrific sacrifices had brought it back to the surface. Renato wasn't exactly sure how to use the legendary weapon. But surely, there must be some way to do it without provoking another catastrophe. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the Earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
Yeah, because we've used it a lot of times in some good ways and some not really so good ways. But that's that. That was actually pretty quick for the first load. Hopefully that
As he set foot on the
island,
Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious.
This is not an
Was
abbreviated
Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne?
Not an
Did
abbreviated
rabbits?
episode.
Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why
Don't
had
know
he chosen the
whether it will
Sky
be.
Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant
But
vigilance.
I will let
He
you
was a
know
hero.
when
He
they're
didn't
when
think
they
too
are.
much. Just went with his gut and
Yeah.
hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
You see the mad skills there. You see the skills there. And I almost messed it up.
The people
So I'm
who
over
had
here,
built
so
this
please.
castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods thousands of times, but Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one.
Oh, we lost her sword. Good combo. We're doing so well. So, by an abbreviated episode, I mean, like, if I start a tree and there's, like, more than one enemy, I'm gonna do my best to cut out the
Boy,
grindy parts.
if looks could
for
kill.
you. Been hitting the square in that direction forever. Just keep cooking along. That's what we do.
Ha! The contraption wasn't even trying anymore. As if it knew it had met its match.
Yes, you are so smart. Smarter
There
than me,
it was.
hitting square too early.
Sky Ripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate.
I was an engineer.
No
one
one
time.
alive had the skill to make a
Combat
thing
engineer.
like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Sky Ripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island.
There was Zenobia.
Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her.
Armature, was it?
She would find him.
What? So we're gonna go to Zenobia.
Renato asked himself why he changed course to confront Zenobia. He'd no idea.
Because I love
Sometimes he would just do things, and he could never figure out why he'd done them. Usually, they worked out. After all, he was a hero.
That was a good time for me to turn off Siri. Yes, goodbye, Siri. And good riddance. I don't need Hey Siri just because she interrupts me all the time.
The truth is, though, he wanted to see her, wasn't it? It had been a
Anyways,
dozen years since
back to the
Sword through
engineering
school.
thing. As a
He'd
combat
followed
engineer in
every
the Army
rumor
for
about her, every scrap of
about
news.
4.5
Not
years.
that he still loved her. After all, she was his enemy. No, it was solely because know your enemy. All right, maybe he should stop pretending. He knew exactly how she felt about him. But their love affair always ended with a tragic death. Unless, maybe he could find a way to dodge tragedy.
Actually,
Surely he could. Couldn't he?
that didn't come up. No. Is it? That's not the far fair, is it? Kinda looks like it. I haven't gained a level in literally forever. Oh, I'll get a level by the end of the story, so that's good. I don't know how short on all this health all of a sudden. You should have always kept on health. The entire story, more or
He
less.
couldn't do worse with Zenobia than he'd done with the core, could he?
There's been some weird pop here. When you go down that section, this shit just pops in, watch. Look, it just pops in right there. Isn't that weird? It's like it's an open path until you decide to not go there. Ah, we're gonna close it. Snarf, snarf. This takes you somewhere. To a chest.
Renato wasn't entirely sure how he was going to capture Zenobia. She'd be expecting him. And he didn't have Lapino to cook up a clever plan. Why was it again that he hadn't got the core? Maybe because the results tended to be disastrous. These streets were familiar. The Swordfu school was closed now, but he had been down that street 1,000 times.
Wow.
He knew that pub. He knew that alley. He knew the alley behind it much too well. No wonder Zenobia had chosen to invade this island herself.
Since we hit 20, we're pretty much unstoppable. Look at that slow motion effect. So good. So good.
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She vanished. And he suddenly noticed he couldn't move except his mouth. In fact, soon he couldn't keep his mouth shut. He told Zenobia everything. Sky River, the Iblistone, even where the secret rebel base was, until he was hoarse. It was some kind of truth spell. Talky truth spell. She called her father by Farspeaker Toad and filled His Majesty in. But why didn't he get the core? Croaked the Farspeaker in something like His Majesty's croak. Because I missed you, darling. Renato grinned. He doesn't even know why, frowned Zenobia. That makes no sense.
It's a trap!
shouted the Emperor.
What's a trap?
I'll meet you at the outpost, and I'll bring my interrogators.
If Reynardo came face to face with the Emperor, maybe he could assassinate him. But maybe it would be smarter and safer to turn Zenobia against her father.
That's what we're gonna do. Visit the scientists.
What are you doing? Asked Zenobia. Did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you?
He asked her.
She shook her head.
He told her. His Majesty wanted to bring the lost gods back. They could make him an eater of souls, an immortal. But to seal his bargain with them, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. She was stunned. Furious.
You're lying.
Under a truce spell?
It's a trick. You can't prove that. Take me to the observatory.
You're
I
lying
will.
under the truth spell. Right. Because that seems like a thing that Reynardo would be capable of doing. Not so much.
What kind of proof could you possibly have?
She said as they landed on the Nexus.
Your father ritually sacrificed a village, and he left witnesses?
The scientist resurrected one. Well, it's not really alive, but it can talk.
A true witness.
She frowned.
The dead can't lie. Well, I bet they could. They just don't have any reason to.
She nodded grimly.
You go on ahead. I don't want the ravens to see me.
We will level up by the end, maybe even the end of this level if we get like 3 decent fights. That would be fun to continue our mastery of this game. Yep. Ever so closer to another trophy. That one is if you unlock everything to get that trophy. Never climbed this before, it's kind of cool. This is the first time
She caught up with him. Don't you think I'd know if my father wanted to invoke the lost gods?
Would he tell you?
No.
Would you help him?
No, I'd burn his books.
Why'd he adopt a stray cat?
You don't ask a thing like that.
No, not when there's no good answer, she said, her whiskers twitching.
Wonder how she gets across. Maybe she's just super agile because she's a cat. Or maybe she also has the quote-unquote hook shot, like I do.
With all the secrets he revealed to the Emperor, the Ravens were probably heading for the secret base.
Yeah, probably.
Renato began to wonder if there would be anyone left to save, if Zenobia changed sides.
Not uncommon for everyone.
How far
everything
exactly did these
done.
things travel?
They're traveling, buddy boy. Oh, man. Come on,
faster,
Style
stronger,
acceptable?
bolder. If only he could figure out which.
I mean acceptable. It was real good. What do you mean? I've always wondered, but I'm going to go to those other areas over there, and I just realized those are the areas we came from. Weird.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The ravens had burned the reanimated witness to cinders. Renato was stunned. There goes my proof. These were scientists, not rebels, Zenobia said, upset. Why would he do this? I don't know. Let's go to the fleet and ask him. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll meet you on the mountains. There's something I have to get first. But could he afford to meet her in the mountains?
That's the one.
He'd
we
given the
need to
Empire the location of the secret rebel base. They would need rescuing.
Let's do it. Boom.
Bernardo was torn. He wanted Zenobia to see the truth of her father. But she could get the truth out of her father faster without him tagging along. Meanwhile, the fleet would soon be knocking on the door of the secret rebel base. Bernardo had better be there when they did.
Yeah. Oh man, 2 levels to go, and then we're going to be done with the whole bottom row of endings. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm ready to be there. I'm ready to get it done. I'm ready to go. I want to see what happens. I'm sure you do too, or you wouldn't be watching this long, long video.
So he had given the Sky Ripper's core to the Empire. He felt stupid about that.
He hoped the Emperor didn't bring the Sky Ripper against the base. There was nothing he could do to fight a legendary weapon. Bernardo hated when he screwed up. One of these days, he would learn to look before he pounced. But today is not that day. He intoned for his own amusement.
And that one over there. I probably need to grab damage. I need so many things. I don't know. That's it. It's not like we're gonna be done anytime soon. I wonder if you could just like
Renato
hang
thought
around
about
the battle
Hypatia's
for a
kid.
while.
Poor,
Let the
dumb
Sky
Peter.
Ripper just kill everything.
Cut down by a goggler.
Just
He
dodge
wondered
it.
if Peter had known he was protecting the Book of Destinies. Or was he just another brave kid, making his mummy proud?
Those are the best. This guy killed Dr. Venom. I don't think that should really count too much. Oh, look at
Renato
her.
decided not to
You
tell
don't
the
get
Count
any
he'd given
combo
the
points
Empire
for it,
Sky
but
Ripper's core
it is possible.
and the location of the secret base. They needed him back. Not really, right?
Oh, look at that one.
The raven
Oh.
was slumped in a pile of its own feathers, like a tree in November.
Never seen this.
You can't stop us. The Emperor has a weapon no warrior can defend against.
What happened to you? Renato asked. But the raven chose that moment to go to the great nest in the sky.
So they'd made the core into a weapon. That wasn't good.
Well, apparently I want this work this next week. But that was totally my plan from the beginning. I wouldn't do it that way. Not an accident at all. Oh, we haven't read before. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. The masses have been raising their fists, led by a handful of nobles with too much ambition. Is it envy that the power that I seek is something they want for themselves? Are they just criminals who want to steal from us? There is but one punishment for such a crime: death. Make an example of the leaders. Execute anyone who dares following them. Or is it fear that the sacrifices I've been making would extend to them? Is this a war for survival? Show them the true meaning of fear. Strike them fast and strike them hard. Make them suffer, burn everything they hold dear. Or is it pride that the meaning of those sacrifices would forever escape their comprehension? They want inclusion, a say in my decisions. This arrogance cannot be allowed. Take those who surrender to the salt mine. Let their lungs fill with corrosive dust. Let them betray one another for scraps of food. Let their children watch as they fall into savagery. End the rebellion without mercy. Punish, terrorize, humiliate. Emperor Isengrim III, War Manifesto. Don't think we've read that before. Because I don't recall reading it before. Although that really counts for much these days.
You shall not pass!
You shall not pass. That's all I mean when I do it. Ooh, totally
Long
clear the
stairs.
maze there. That's okay.
So he was close to the rebel base.
I swear.
Nothing was on fire. So far, so good.
And I was wrong. Yeah. Let's finish this. Hopefully getting close to my
Renato had never slain so many ravens. The secret base was gonna stink of burnt feathers for months. The council speaker was confused.
Our spies say Zenobia has gone berserk. She attacked and destroyed an entire squadron of dropships.
This was amazing good news. He'd shown her the Emperor's evil. Now she'd gone over to the rebel side. Now is our moment. Attack! Renato exulted. They could win this thing. Zenobia commanded half the fleet. Who would follow the mad Emperor when they could follow his heir, who was wise and smart and a brilliant sorceress besides? But what about the core and the Iblis Stone? What evil could the Emperor wreak with those?
As he closed in on the Imperial fleet, Renato liked his odds.
Oh lord. Found out about odds last time. He blew up the whole world. All of everything, ever. Everything ever was. It's Metallica. Or a little bit of it. By a little bit, probably something that if you don't know them, you're probably...
Oh, how had he gotten into this mess? He'd never set out to be a hero. When he was a kid, he'd wanted to be a great cat burglar, until his mother had explained about foxes and cats. And then the Emperor had gone mad, and started sacrificing kittens to the lost gods. There were a lot of dead ravens here. Who had slain them?
Renato wondered if death was nothing more but a portal to another plane of existence. He didn't particularly want to find out.
Killed everything so fast. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. actually really excited for this to see what happens.
And I was just getting warmed up, he thought.
I promise that at some point I am going to this game.
There were raven bodies everywhere.
Look at the guy.
The precision of the wounds.
Oh.
Renato recognized her style.
It appeared that she was single-handedly turning the tide to the battle. Good. That left the Emperor with only the core. Against him, all the rebels, his daughter, and her ravens. He wished he was fighting alongside her. But they'd meet up soon enough.
Oh, that sword flew from so far away. I can make it! I can make it! I can make it! Oh yeah, I can make it! Oh, I did it! I don't know if I was going to be able to actually accomplish that without getting hit.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor.
I really wish I could.
Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
I wasn't even standing up yet. I think it's affecting the entire scene. What in the world? Oh my goodness, it is. Wow. What the heck happened? This is really kind of funny, because I ended with the slow motion and slow mode everything. That's funny. I broke the game. Right as I was getting to the end, I really, really wanted to see right now. What exactly happened? I can't move over there, I can't dash or anything, so it's just gonna take as long as it takes, I guess. I don't know if it's half speed or quarter speed, but it is god awfully slow right now. I kinda wanna cut this out, and I kinda want the developers to see it at the same time. Not that I think it'll get patched. I don't think this game has seen a patch since it came out. Oh look, there's Leonardo, still doing his thing. Am I gonna run over there in super slow-mo as well? Oh look, it's over.
Zenobia was cutting down the Emperor's bodyguard like they were mushrooms. The Emperor was frantically readying some arcane instrument, brass and hammered steel wrapped around a glowing, thrumming sphere. Skyripper's core. Zenobia! Renato shouted. But he had no idea what else to say. Revenge! She shouted as she cut the last bodyguard down. A ray lanced out of the sphere. Everything around her burst into flames, but her sword seemed only to absorb it. She walked towards Isengrim III like she was walking against a river.
Like
Nothing could stop her. They were going to win. Zenobia stabbed the Emperor dead and flicked the moaning apparatus off. She was laughing hysterically. Or weeping, maybe. They had won. He ran to her. I killed my own father. She wept, and he held her. He told her he loved her. He would pull her back from the brink of madness. But the core thrummed louder and louder. At that moment, Renato understood that the core was going to explode catastrophically. And that this could have been victory. The Emperor and his daughter dead, the fleet destroyed. He'd almost been a hero. A legendary one, maybe. If only he and the rebel fleet hadn't been here.
It's kind of a depressing way to look at it. You would have been a hero if you weren't here at all. Z is for Zutgeist. Zutgeist. I got this. Don't worry. We're gonna figure it out. Z-I-T-G-E-I-S-T. Dictionary.com. It's my best friend right now.
Zeitgeist.
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 The spirit of the time, general trend of thought or feeling characteristic of a particular period of time. Okay.
Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist. And 20 ore that we don't need. And apparently finishing this section didn't do anything. So that was cool. But we did learn how to say Zeitgeist. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to go. So, this was more Stories Path of Destinies. Like, comment, and subscribe if you would like more content like this at the end. After another 9 stories, it appears, I will be doing one where I go through every single one. And I'll see y'all later. Bye bye, before you have to hear the pages turning like I do. Bye bye.